Brought to you by businessblueprint.com.au.
Bernie and I were talking before about the importance of thinking like your prospect. Yeah? You've got to get inside their head. And there's a guy who's coming. I had something planned, and then I was chatting with Dale the other day. I'm really glad I did. There's a guy who's coming. It's Jesse Forrest, who's a brilliant copywriter. I think he ran a webinar. If you haven't seen it, check out the recordings quite recently. And Jesse's going to do a whole session. I know Sharon Pearson talked about the avatar last conference. He's got these really brilliant questions which will help you get really deep so you can get inside your prospect's head. Okay? Why do you think it would be important to understand what's making them tick? Have a quick chat with the people next to you. Ready, set, go. I think it'd be fair to say that more you understand somebody and the more understood they feel by you, the easier it is for them to accept what you say and then act on what you say. Would you agree? Yeah. So I think there's a shift I'd love you to make. And it goes from thinking about your prospect to becoming your prospect. What I'd love you to consider when Jesse comes, which day is that? Tomorrow. Awesome, I'm so glad. When Jesse comes tomorrow, he's got a really killer exercise mapped out. What I'd love you to do is just kind of promise yourself that when Jesse comes and he does this activity, that you're going to just dive head first in. Because I reckon 20 minutes invested in not just kind of intellectually thinking about your prospect, but answering the questions. And then if we were doing kind of Ouija board seance stuff, I'd say kind of channeling them. Don't, because that'd be creepy. I'll walk in and the video will be like all these people going, Let's not do that. The more you can get into your prospect's head, the more you can become your prospect, the easier it is for you to speak like them, to know what hot buttons to hit and what hot buttons to leave behind, and how to know exactly what they're looking for and how to move them to the next step. Yeah? Great. How many of you guys have read The E-Myth? Wow. The amount of people I talk to who read The E-Myth and then they go, oh, you know, when I read that book the first time, I felt like he'd been spying on me. Hey, because Michael Gerber just did an amazing job of tapping into the fears and frustrations and the wants and aspirations of a business owner. Chris Howard, I remember Chris Howard talking about how to sell. You know the NLP guy, Chris Howard? And he talked about using people's language back to them. So he'd be on the phone when he first started and somebody would say, oh, you know what, Chris, I've tried so many things to get the breakthrough. I just really need a program that gets me off my butt and gets me to take action. So Chris is talking about it, and then when it comes time to talk about the product, he says, you know what? What I love most about this program, it's the program that gets you off your butt and gets you to take action. That's exactly what I need. Right? So you want to get in your head. How do you do that? Well, you ask questions and figure out what their day's like, what their hopes and dreams are, what they secretly are afraid of. Like we were having a little chat. Is it Angela? Yeah. Chat before about the known problems and then the known spoken problems and the known unspoken problems. So Jesse tomorrow is going to take you through an exercise. So when he comes, promise yourself to dig deep. As soon as you get deep inside their head, you're going to know two things. You're going to know what you might want to write this down. Fears and frustrations. On the one side. And their wants and aspirations on the other. You tracking? Fears, frustrations, wants and aspirations. So whenever I start marketing a new product or working with a client on a new program, or we're just starting to really kind of target in on a niche, we grab a sheet of paper and we draw a line right down the middle. And on the left, we write down F and F, fears and frustrations. And on the right, we write down wants and aspirations. And you know what we're looking for? Surface level stuff at first and then deep stuff. Because most of the important buying triggers aren't rational at all, are they? They're emotional. What do they say? People buy emotionally and then back it up with logic. I remember sitting down with a guy, Australia's #2 Mercedes-Benz dealer. So why do people really buy Mercedes-Benz? I asked. He said, well, we've got a survey. And it says the #1 reason people buy Mercedes-Benz is safety. Come on. What are you born yesterday? Safety? Maybe that's what they tell their friends, but I even doubt that. You know what I'm saying? So when you're doing your list of fears and frustrations and wants and aspirations, go to surface and then go deeper. What's really going on? Helpful so far? All right. Let's talk about how to take that and turn it into useful. Out of that list of fears and frustrations and wants and aspirations, some hot buttons are going to come up. Anybody know how would you define hot button? Something that's got some emotional charge in it, some juice, totally. It's an important and relevant issue. And it's critical that when you speak about it with the same level of emotional intensity that they would. So let's say you were some kind of health expert, and unfortunately your niche is people who've just found out they've got cancer. So your sales letter isn't going to start off, so I heard you've got the big C. You know what I'm saying? You want to match tone with tone. I know that was crass, wasn't it? So, hey! Let's move on before I get myself in trouble.
Brought to you by businessblueprint.com.au.